Dear students, welcome to our class on JRF SRF NET 2022 Core NRM 1 Agroforestry bits we are going to discuss and then understand in this lecture number 1515. The first bit for today's class on agroforestry is Indian National Forest Policy was introduced, implemented or started in the year 1988. A geographical area that should be under the forest and tree cover is 33%. Forest area of hilly districts that should be under is 66%. However, it is around 38.85 or 39% at present. National Agricultural Policy for India was developed and implemented from the year 2000. International Center for Research in Agroforestry, what we call it as ICRAF, ICRAF we call it as International Center for Research in Agroforestry. In other words, in some books you will find World Agroforestry Center. Okay, it is located in Nairobi, Kenya. ICRAF, that is Nairobi in Kenya, it was established in the year 1978. So National Research Center for Agroforestry in India, it is located in Jhansi. It was established in the year 1988 along with the National Forest Policy of India. So both National Forest Policy and National Research Center for Agroforestry in India were in 1988. Now, in assertion and reasoning type, questions like this will come. What is that? Agroforestry is a sustainable land management system that increases overall production. Again, I repeat, agroforestry is a sustainable land management system that increases overall production. Why I am telling you is that in assertion and reasoning type, the National Forest Policy was introduced in the year 1988 in the assertion, and agroforestry is suitable. Okay, it is a sustainable land management system. Okay, that is the assertion. In the reasoning, what they give is National Research Center for Agroforestry was also established at Jhansi in the year 1988, and the agroforestry is a system that increases overall production. In the reason, they will give like this. In the assertion, what I read first, then in the reason. So here the answers are, please tick the correct answer is the question there. So here in such bits you should understand that lines like this, agroforestry is a sustainable land management system. It is also a system that increases overall production. Like that, at minute level you should go to, these are the bits that decides the overall ranking. That's why I am interested to impress upon my beloved students that read with clarity of mind. What is agroforestry? What is a system of agroforestry? What is its final aim? All these things you should go to the minute level because these are given in the assertion and reasoning type. Now let us go to another important agroforestry. In agroforestry there are ecological and socio-economic interactions. In agroforestry, there are ecological and socio-economic interactions are there. This also may come in the form of assertion reasoning or match the following. Now, for the match the following, after 4-5 minutes I will give agree, Sylvie, Bassett, so like that, in the match the following they will come. After 4-5 minutes I will tell. Just before that, this is a possible question. An agroforestry system has always two or more components. An agroforestry system always have two or more components. Okay, or you can say two or more outputs as well. When components are there, you get the output. In a system, there is an input, there is a processing, there is an output. So output also is a possible line you may get. The cycle of an agroforestry system is always more than 1 year. Agroforestry is a form of multiple cropping. This also please remember, it is a form of multiple cropping. There exist at least two plant species that interact biologically. At least one of the plant species is a woody perennial. At least one of the plant species is managed for forage, or you can say annual or perennial crop production like sesbania, etc., etc. That's what we discuss after 2 to 3 minutes or 4 minutes from now. Now, what is social forestry? Please listen. Very important line I read. Social forestry is planting trees to help the poor people to improve their living and meeting their routine requirements of two things, fuel wood and fodder. Okay, social forestry deals with fuel wood and fodder arrangement to the poor people. Now, farm forestry, again, next interesting, farm forestry includes bund planting. Farm forestry, it includes bund planting. Now, what is a community forestry here? A very interesting thing. A form of social forestry. What is social forestry? Social forestry should address the problem of fuel and grass requirement for the animals. Fuel for the home, grass for the animals. So, such a social forestry system, okay, is also, okay, somewhere related to community forestry. What is community forestry here? It is a form of social forestry that refers to tree planting activities undertaken by a community. Tree planting operations done by a community. That's what we call it as the community forestry. Here, okay, another important bit here in the community forestry is leaves of Pongamia glabra and Sesbania are cut annually and applied as a green leaf manure. Here the important bit is it to paddy fields, preferably paddy fields. They do it in the social forestry, community forestry. This is very important. Now, in western Ghats of India, terminalia leaves are harvested, spread on land, and they are dried in the shade. Then paddy, ragi, and millets are grown. Millets are sown. Okay, millets are sown. This is another interesting thing here. Now, so most common question, memory type question that would appear in the social forestry are three most important things. Number one, annual soil loss is 16.35 tons per hectare. Annual soil loss per hectare is 16.35 tons per hectare. The degraded land due to mining activity in India is 50 million hectares. Degraded land is 50 million hectares. Extent of degraded forest in the country is more than 40 million hectares. Extent of degraded forest is more than 40 million hectares. Now, the maximum area under wasteland is in Rajasthan, followed by Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. By the end of this century, the cropland per head decreased by 19% due to population explosion or population increase in India. Okay, the per capita, okay, cropland per capita or per head would be decreased by 14% if the population goes on increasing at the present rates. What are the advantages of agroforestry? Usually, these are given in the assertion reasoning or match the following. Now, here, most important thing is the advantage of agroforestry is it increases the microclimate, feed for livestock, food for man, enhanced food production from crops, enhance the sustainability of cropping systems, improvement of soil moisture retention, reducing flood hazards, reducing flood hazards, improvement in water drainage from waterlogged or saline soils. Okay, these are the most important advantages of agroforestry. Now, ethanol is produced from fermentation of high carbohydrate fruit. This bit will come, certainly. At least in the JRF, you can get this one. What is that? Ethanol is produced from fermentation of high carbohydrate fruits. Okay, now these are also advantages in the agroforestry. What are other advantages in cultivation? Oils, latex, resins are available from trees in the agroforestry. What are those? Oils, latex, resins, etc. are available. Building materials for shelter construction, fencing, windbreaks and shelter belts, raw material for paper and pulp industry, wood for agricultural implements, fiber for weaving. So these are all the other or additional advantages of agroforestry. Okay, so these are the most important advantages of agroforestry. Now let's continue. Planning Commission in the year 1989 has divided the country into 15 agroclimatic zones. Planning Commission in the year 1989 has divided India into 15 agroclimatic zones. Now, ICR has classified India into 20 agroecological regions. Now, here, most important match the following which will come. So, I would like to share with you. Here, listen very carefully. I repeat once again that these are the things that decides your ranking. Now, agri-silviculture. What is meant by agri-silviculture? Trees plus crops. Energy plantation. Trees plus crops during initial years. Once again, for your academic interest, agri-silviculture. Trees plus crops. Energy plantation is also trees plus crops. However, these crops are during initial years. LA cropping, perennial hedges plus crops, LA cropping. Agri-horticulture, fruit trees plus crops. Agri-horticulture is food trees plus crops. Agri-silvi-horticulture, trees plus fruit trees plus crops. Once again, for your academic interest, agri-horticulture, fruit trees plus crops. Agri-silvi-horticulture, same, trees plus of course a fruit crop plus food trees plus crop are common like agri-horti. Here trees are added. Now, agri-silvi-pasture, trees plus crops plus pasture are animals. Silvi-olericulture, trees plus vegetables. Horti-pasture, fruit trees plus pasture. Horticulture, fruit trees plus vegetables. Silvi-pasture, trees plus pasture. Silvi-pasture, trees plus pasture. It is for the animals. Forestry, forest trees plus pasture. Shelter belts and windbreaks, both are trees plus crop. The advantages of shelter belts are, in general, adverse effects of high wind and adverse effect of advected wind, that is either cold or warm. Okay, these are all reduced by windbreaks and shelter belts. Now, last two bits of today's class. Live fence. What exactly is meant by live fence? Are shrubs and you can grow some trees under the boundary. So this is what we call it as the live fence. So aqua forestry, trees plus fishes, we call it as aqua forestry. Usually we get this term homestead, farmstead, HOMESTEAD, STEAD or farm, FARM STEAD, these two words. Please, you should know the difference. What is meant by homestead? Multiple combination of trees, fruit trees and vegetables. So that's what we call it as the homestead. So what is LA cropping? This is the last bit for today's class. In LA farming, fast growing legumes that coppice vigorously are intercropped with the crops. Once again, legumes intercropped with the crops. In the LA farming we do, the crops are usually they are the legumes. So the legumes we go for incorporation into the soil, okay, as a in situ green manuring or fodder for the animals, or you can say that it is for pulse crop. Most of them are legumes or pulse crop. Okay, so we get either the harvest of the first crop or we incorporate into the soil in situ to enhance the organic matter content and thereby retention of the moisture and most importantly the green manure crops also help in, okay, and finally some grains and fodder to the animals. Three purposes: fodder for the animals, legume grains we get, and initially we can in situ incorporate it. So these are the advantages of agroforestry. These are the bits I would like to share with you in NRM, because agroforestry is one of the components in NRM. Thanking you very much for your very patient hearing.